what is Mother's secret and how the hell can we solve this particular room? This is actually one of the rooms that I had to do a lot of homework on, just to try to understand what we're supposed to do, because they tell us to use the information that we learned from the SAST and the DAST rooms as a part of the DevSecOps, so on and so forth. And to be very honest with you, the information that we're supposed to pull from this thing is not going to be found just from going through those three different rooms. This is a much more advanced room than what I have previously studied, as you can tell, because I already put out the videos for the DAST and SAST. These are already here. So these videos are already here, and the stuff that we learned inside of those videos is not what's going to be, it's not what's going to help us for this particular room. So it took me a good amount of research just to try to figure out exactly what I'm supposed to even do. And a lot of the stuff that's available on Google and on YouTube, they kind of cut corners and they don't give you the routes that they took to actually find the information that they found. So what I am going to do now is I'm going to share with you exactly how to get to these answers. I'm not going to shortcut anything, and we're going to do everything together so that you can see exactly what we did and how we found these things. So I'm excited to finally go through this with you, because it took me a couple of days to actually figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do here. So hopefully this will be useful for you as well, because this is a little bit of a difficult room. They listed it as easy, which is kind of obnoxious to think about, because it definitely wasn't easy for me. So hopefully with the aid of this video, it'll be easier for you at least. So let's jump into it. All right, the situation is this, right? Upon accessing the mother computer, aka mother, you will see the mother UI server. Since you only have a crew member level role, you only have access to limited resources, but there are other ways to access it. So what we're supposed to do is find those other ways. We're going to download the file attached to this task, explore the available endpoints, and try to find any clues. Search for a file that contains essential information about the ship's activities. Exploit the vulnerable code to download the secrets from the server, and capture all the hidden flags during the exploration. And for the operating manual, they give us a few hints here. One of them is the emergency command override is 100,375, so 100,375, and use it when accessing alien loaders. Download the task file to learn more about the mother's routes, and hitting the routes in the right order makes mother confused, and it might make it think that you're a science officer. So can you guess what is available at this particular endpoint, which is one of the flags that we're supposed to find as we go through this? And that's essentially all they give us. So what is the number of the emergency command override? In this particular case, we have this over here. So that one's a gimme. It's an easy one. And we can just copy and paste that over here. The rest of this, we actually have to find as we go through the rest of the information. So the first thing that we got to do is we got to look at these task files. And I downloaded them, and this is basically what the task file looks like. So if I kind of zoom this in a little bit and expand this so you can see what's going on. So this is it. I'm not very good at reading these types. I mean, it's Python, so I understand Python, and I understand exactly what is trying to be done here. But this is, it doesn't give you the full picture, because this is just literally, it's a router Python file. And so one of the ways that I kind of figured out what was supposed to be happening is I went to Gemini. And so we're just going to start a new chat, and I'm going to paste this in here. And Gemini is Google's AI. So you can use ChatGPT for this. You can use the Meta AI for this. It doesn't really matter. So I'm really just going to say, can you explain the different endpoints that are available through this file and how to access them? Okay, so here's the breakdown, right? It tells us these are different endpoints. We have the YAML.js, and you can get it through a post command, and then Nostromo.js, and same thing, it's another post request, and then the post Nostromo/mother is another post request. So basically, we need to be making HTTP requests to this. We need to be making post requests to this. So if we went and typed in something like can you create a curl command to access these endpoints, right? So here's what it would look like. So it would be curl execute a post command, HTTP localhost port YAML is one of them, and then we're going to be looking for the file path variable and then the file name, and that's one specific version. And then this is the Nostromo one, which is essentially the same exact thing: file path, your file extension, so on and so forth. So this is the various curl commands that we would make against this these various endpoints, but this is not enough. So this is not complete. One of the things that I was trying to find, and as you can see, this one is already running still, and it still hasn't given me much. So this is a GoBuster directory enumerator that's trying to find the different files, so .html, .js, .txt, so on and so forth. And then I did another version over here where instead of doing .js, I just did JS, txt, php, and I was literally going around in circles as I was running these commands, because I was just trying to find where some potential endpoints might be, where potential supporting files might be, because this is not the full file. This thing is not the full story here. This is just giving us a few different endpoints and trying to access any of these things. So YAML.js, I'll actually show you so you can see what I mean instead of just trying to tell you. So this is the website itself, right? So this is the website that when I loaded the virtual machine, this is the IP address that they gave me. And then I go to this website, and this is the instructions. So it says, you know, the level of authorization we have as crew member. Alien loader is whatever the name of the stupid program is. The pathways, there's nothing in here. It says Nostromo holds countless winding corridors, concealed chambers, harboring secrets. Embrace the power of this and then try to find the secrets. The role that we have as crew member, and the flag is classified. So this is literally all we get, right? This is all we get. There's nothing else that you can click on or anything like this. So what I did was I clicked on inspect, and when you click on inspect, it gives you all this information down here. And inside of the network tab, nothing shows up in this particular case. It's just a few things. And inside of the debugger, there's one little file that actually shows up, which is index.min.js. And inside of this, there's actually a bunch of JavaScript code. And so if we copy this code, and if we go, there's something called Beautify JS, I think, or Beautify JSON, let's say JS, I think, JavaScript, there you go. So right here, and then we paste this in here and we beautify the code, and this is what the code looks like. And inside of this, you see that there's a few, I mean, there's a lot of different variables, and there's a lot of different parameters. Just to zoom in on it for you, just so you can kind of see what all this looks like. It's not, I mean, it literally, unless you exactly know what you're reading, and unless you know how to read through JavaScript code, you really don't know what to look for and what to pull from this. But one of the things that we really want to try to find in this entire process is something like a very simple assignment parameter. So when you see something like this, when you see a double or a triple equal sign, that means something is being assigned. Typically, you're creating variables, or you're trying to compare variables. There's comparative operators, and then there's assignment operators. And there's something that also checks to make sure, and it's these things. It's either equal to or greater than, equal to or less than, or double equals. And it's not an assignment when it's double equals. It's a single equal is when it's assigning a variable, and double equals, or equal to and less than, equal to is greater than, is when it's starting to compare things. So one of the things that we want to find in this particular thing is the double equal signs, because it gives us a little bit more data to pull from. So I think one of the things, let's see, if we go down here, this might be, hold on one second. Okay, it's a little bit easier, believe it or not, it's a little bit easier to search through the contents of that file by just creating our own file inside of Nano here. So basically what I did was I came to the terminal, I did Nano And let me just zoom in for you because I've heard people really wanting to see the zoomed in version of all these things. So if we do nano index.js is the name of the file that I created, and inside of that I pasted that entire content. So the entire contents of this piece right here, this giant line of code, because this is a really long line of code. And so I went in here, I just did Control A, so it selects everything, and I did Control C to copy it, and then I came inside of this nano file that I made, index.js, and then I pasted it in here, and then I saved it. And so now we have this, and then so what you can do is you can grep through this. So if I do, let's move this up here. If I cat through this file, cat basically displays the whole thing onto the screen. If you cat through the file and then you pipe it into a grep command, which searches through the file for the double equal sign, it gives you everything that has a double equal. And from what I've learned before is that every time you see a double equal, especially in a parameter, so in this particular case, the stuff that's inside of these quotes is one parameter. So if we copy this, and then if we go to something called CyberChef, CyberChef is this very, very useful tool, and it's not cyberchef.com. CyberChef is the name of the tool, but it's a GitHub repository. And in github.io, it brings this whole thing up here for you. So if I put this right here, and then if I do from base64, it'll give me the text version. So in this particular case, it's classified, which means if we go back into the browser right here, and if we look at the flag right here, it says it's classified. So that means that we actually were able to pull content from this page, from the code that's going on in the background. So if we go and search through the rest of these things, we should be able to find some kind of information that's helpful to us. So in this particular case, I'm going to go copy this one, and we're going to go to CyberChef, and we're going to paste it in here, and look at that. So we actually have a flag in this particular case. So that one is super useful. So we have a flag. So that flag should apply to one of these things. So it says, what's the flag in here? So it's not that one. So there's another one. What's this? It's this one. So the contents of the classified flag box, which is actually exactly this thing, right? So this piece right here, it's classified, and this is the flag box, and that was the content of the flag box. Now there's an actual order in here, right? So if we pay attention to this right here, it says order, and then 937. So what is the order number? It's 937. Perfect. Okay, cool. So now what's the hidden flag inside the Nostromo route? And what's the name of the science officer? What is mother's secret? Or where is mother's secret? And what is mother's secret? And so this is where things get a little bit interesting, because now we have to actually make requests. We have to make HTTP requests to the various API endpoints that we got. And so this is where our little tool that we got from Gemini, these little curl commands from Gemini, are going to come in fairly handy. So the first one is curl x post, and this is for YAML, and do a directory search for the file path and then the file name YAML. So let's see what we can find, because one of them on here it already says, can you guess where it is? So there's API Nostromo mother secret.txt, and then the YAML, and so on and so forth. So now we have to try to just do a bunch of different post requests from curl, and to really just try to search through the different portions of this website through the different API endpoints to try to find that information. So now that we have, at the very least, we have some curl commands and things like that, we can try to do some work here. So I'm going to clear the screen, and we're going to try to figure out what the hell to do. So let's see. Okay, so just using the basic template that we got from Gemini is going to be this little piece right here. So it's a curl command, and we're sending a post request, and the HTTP is not going to be localhost port YAML, etc., etc. It's actually going to be the IP address that we have. So I already have it on this side right here. So I'm just going to type it in real quick. And then from there, we're going to first try to find, I guess, the specific file that's right here, which is the secret.txt. And the path for this is the API Nostromo mother. So the path for this, we're just going to do /API Nostromo mother. And then the, I guess, I wonder if I should do a / as well. I'll do /, and then the file itself is going to end up being the secret.txt. And let's see if we can get anything from this. Authentication failed. Kindly visit Nostromo and YAML route first, not necessarily in that order. And so just to give you an idea, because this actually doesn't look like that when you go to the link directly through the thing. So if I went to API Nostromo mother and then secret .txt, come on. The error message that it gives us, it just says you just hit the wrong route. So it doesn't give us anything else, which is actually very interesting because I guess in this particular case, we're not doing any kind of a post request. We're making a get request because we're just trying to pull it through our browser and we're trying to get that information from our browser. So it's not giving us any specific kind of request. It's literally just it's not doing a post request, I should say. It's not doing specifically a post request, it's making a get request. So in this particular case, we have to actually make a post request. So when we did make the post request, it gave us a message and it says you got to visit Nostromo and YAML route first. So that's actually helpful. So the next thing that I would try in this case would be one of those routes. So let's try to see what we can get from that. Okay, so the first one that we're just going to try is we're going to go to the route for YAML. So I'm going to get rid of this whole thing and we're just going to do the YAML at the very end of this, and there's not a YAML file path, so the file path actually needs to change too. So we're just going to change this to .yaml and not a YAML file path, secret.yaml file path. Still nothing. So let's see what we can find here. We do have this little piece of information where it says uses when accessing alien loaders. So I'm going to try this. Okay, so this was the command that ended up actually getting us some kind of a result here. So modified the curl command a little bit. We changed it, or I changed it, so that we can look for this particular header. So the content type application JSON, and then the rest of it is pretty much the same. So for the directory, it's going to be the file path parameter, searching for the 100.375.yaml file. At the endpoint, that's the IP address /YAML. And then when you do this, it actually gives us a new message where it says, for science officer eyes only, special secrets, rerouting to API Nostromo order, and then this is the order number. So I believe that we need to now change our approach to reroute to the API Nostromo file, searching for the order .txt. So if we do that, so I can just modify this now, or well, let me cancel that out because it always looks super funky. So if we modify this thing now, and we go to API Nostromo as the directory, and then from there we go and look for the what was the secret file? I cleared it. It's this thing, the order.txt. So copy this thing and then go and paste that inside of our file path. And let's see if we get anything. Okay, we got another flag. So there we go. We got another flag. Wow, this is not an easy thing. So this is the hidden flag in the Nostromo route. There we go. The science officer we still got to find, and mother's secret now. Now we got to find mother's secret. I feel like it would be similar to the path that we just took right here. So let's see what else we can find. So mother's secret is actually going to be inside of the API Nostromo mother route secret.txt. So let's see what that is. So if we run the command again, API Nostromo mother, and then we're going to just go and look for the secret.txt file inside of this thing. And let me just zoom in a little bit so it's easier for you to see what's happening here. So that's the new command, and so the secret is this route. So now we want to be searching for this path. I think we're going to be looking through this particular path, and in the same, I want to say it's the same API, so it'll be the same folder, but now the file path is going to be different. So let me see. So if we do opt m0th3r mother, do that. It says sign officer eyes only. Okay, so let's see what else we can do. I think there's hold on. Making some progress. I think there's gonna be some progress made. Hold on one second. I believe that what we need to do is we need to traverse this thing and go to the actual home directory. And so this is how you traverse, just so you know. When you do dot dot, it's like doing cd dot dot. It takes you back one directory. So if we do, let's see, if we do one directory, it'll give us the same thing. So if I do another directory, I think we just need to keep traversing to see if it's going to be inside of any of the other directories. Sign officer eyes only, same thing. So I'm just going to do like all of them. I'm going to go back as many as I can. I think it's like 4 is the number that we gotta. 1, 2, and then another 2. Yeah, there you go. So it was inside of the like root. So you go back 1, 2, 3, 4. You traverse back 4 directories until you get to the home directory, and this is it. This is the secret flag right here. So this is our flag, and so we got that, and now we can go and paste this here. And then the location was opt m0th3r, like that, mother. And so now it says, what is the name of the science officer that has the permission? And it already changed it. So when you make the post request, the actual API itself changes too. So it's Ash. It changes from crew member to Ash now. So if I click down, it'll also say that my role is now Ash. So there it is. That was it. Ash was the person. And this was not, in my opinion, this was not covered inside of the last 2 videos that we did on DAST and SAST. So static application security testing and dynamic application security testing. This was just not on there. Same thing, the DevSecOps room and all that stuff. None of these things were covered in that. In those rooms, and it just required a little bit of trial and error, because a lot of the stuff that I searched for to try to find some kind of instructions for this room, they only had answers. Like nobody could give me the path to try to find the different endpoints, to try to find the different this specific file, this index.js file. This file right here, a lot of people were like, yeah, here's the file, and this is the contents of the file. I'm like, yeah, but how the hell did you find this file? Like, where did you go to find this file? Because the only thing that they gave us in the task files was just that singular file, this freaking file, this one API routes and whatever. That's the only thing that they gave us. And it was it took me a day of just clicking around trying to find, do trial and error. I did so many different, I did Nikto scans, and I did GoBuster scans, and I did Nmap scan. Like I did so many different types of scans to try to find that freaking file, and I couldn't find them until I literally just, and it's kind of odd that it's like so simple, is that I just went and I inspected the page, and then it brings us the console down here. And then if you're on Chrome, the console is on the right side of the screen. What it brought us the console down here, and then you click on debugger, and it actually gives you this one single JS file. And inside of this JS file was that original flag that we found that was on the contents of the page, which was this particular one, which is inside of the classified flag box. So this was the one that's inside of the classified flag box. That was from that JS file, and then from that is where we found the order number, so order 937, which is this thing right here. And then from that we were able to, at the very least, establish our initial things. And then when we used Gemini to break down what this thing actually was doing, and it was saying that you need to, this is a post request inside of that original, so inside of this file right here, there's just several requests. And I mean, you are living in the age of AI, so don't feel bad about using a tool like Gemini or ChatGPT or something like that. It's not that bad. It's not that big of a deal. If you do understand Python, and if you do understand requests and the different things that we're supposed to be doing inside of this particular file, it doesn't feel that bad, because you can go in here, and it's right here. So the first one is router post. So there's a post request right here. And then you can see what it's trying to do, and it's looking inside of the public directory, and it's looking for the file path. And this one is for YAML. This is for the YAML search. So this is the post request for the YAML file. It's checking if it is a YAML file, and it's going to go through it. If it's not a YAML file path, then it gave us the error messages that we found. If it couldn't read the file, it gave us the error messages that we found. And then the next one was another one that basically was another post request that was going through the Nostromo path. So in this one, this post request went through the root. So this / the singular / means it's searching through the root folder. And then it just went through that. Then in the next one right here, it's actually going through the Nostromo directory. It's going through the Nostromo path and looking for similar files. And if it was some kind of an error, it would say science officer eyes only, which you already saw. If it was something that we could actually find, it would tell us, and we were able to pull that information. And then the last one was another post request that went through the Nostromo mother path, and it was doing the same thing. So kindly visit Nostromo and YAML route first. So this was the error message that we found when we did that request. And then the other one was science officer eyes only, and we were supposed to traverse it to try to find it, and it was telling us that it's going to be inside of the Nostromo path, and then we just had to keep going up. That's where the file traversal part came through, where we had to actually do the .. So sending those post requests inside of our terminal using those curl commands is what ended up getting us to where it was. And I mean, I went through a lot of different iterations. I had to stop the recording multiple times to try to get through all the different iterations of these different post requests. And originally from the one that Gemini gave me to this final iteration that was searching through the header content for content type application JSON, then we searched for the file path, and then we searched through the specific endpoints themselves. And the first one that was on the YAML was for the 100.375.yaml, which was the hint that they gave us at the beginning, where they're like, if you want to enter this thing, the emergency command is this, and you want to access alien loaders, if you want to access these things, you need to search for the it doesn't tell us that you need to search for this, but this was, again, it was like one of those trial and error things that I was like, okay, let me try it. And then I tried it, and it actually gave me a little bit of extra information, which in this case was, only for special, for science officer eyes only, special, secrets, rerouting to this particular path, and then the text file right here. So then we ran that, and then from here we found the same thing. We used the first portion, which is exactly the same for the command, and then for the file path we changed it to the order.txt that we got, order937.txt, and then we went to the API Nostromo route as it told us as the result of the last command, and then it gave us this, right? So it gave us the flag right here that was inside of the API Nostromo, And then we had to go and find the secret.txt file that was available inside of the API Nostromo mother route. And this one, they also told us that it's right here. So can you guess what's inside of this thing? And so it's API Nostromo mother secret.txt, and that's the route that it gave us, which is this thing. So this is mother secret, and then, or where is mother secret is inside of this thing, and what is mother secret? We had to go and actually find it. And to be able to find it, we needed to go up 4 levels. So the secret itself was /opt/mother, but in this particular case, we had to traverse up the ladder. Like we had to keep going back one. And just to show you what that actually means, just so you can kind of see what that ... does, so you're not fully confused. So let's say I have the directory tools, and then I have another directory inside of tools that is, the word lists. And this is what I was using to use GoBuster to try to enumerate the directories and try to find files, which it didn't work for me, but we went over there, and then there was, inside of this, there was the dirbuster. So this is now the full path, right? This is the path that I'm in. And so I have now gone up 3 levels, or gone down 3 levels, however you want to look at it. Now, for me to go back to the root directory, which is this thing right here, this piece that you see, this little squiggly line, that means I'm in my root directory. So for me to go back to my root directory, I would have to do cd ... and that takes me back 1 level. And then I do cd ... again, it takes me back another level, and then ... again, and it takes me back another level. And this, you don't know that this is what you have to do. This is what you do when you just do trial and error, and you go through different iterations. The iterations word is what you'll find a lot. And when you're doing pen testing and things like that, you have to traverse directories. You'll hear that a lot as well. That's a specific strategy where you just use that mechanism, .. You'll use that so you can go back and forth inside of a web server to try to find what's inside of each one of these directories. And eventually, hopefully, you'll find what you're looking for. And so that's what we had to go through to find the information for all of these answers. And sure enough, with enough trial and error, we found it. So that is it for the mother's secret room, this mother effort. So hopefully you found the information in this video useful, and hopefully it made your life a little bit easier as you're trying to learn what to do for this particular room. If you found this video useful and if it made your life a little bit easier, I want you to like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so that you get notified the next time that a video comes out. Our community has been growing, and I would love to see you in the comment section. We do get a lot of comments coming in all the time from people that have learned stuff from the videos, to people just saying that they're grateful or asking questions and things like that. So it's been really nice to see the community growing as much as possible. And look, literally the word iteration, I told you that it comes up a lot, a fun iteration. So this thing comes up a lot, and an iteration means just another version or another attempt at something with making a minor tweaks and something like that. So very, very nice to see all the people in the comments, and I would love to see you in the comments as well. So make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell, and definitely drop a comment to say hi, to ask a question, and so on and so forth. It's your boy Hank Hackerson at Hank Hacks Hackers, your favorite network and system attacker. If no one else loves you, Hank loves you. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I will see you in the next room. Later.